You've got to get out of debt. Let's all make an agreement that we've got, myself included, man, we've got to get out of debt. Debt is the way they make you capitulate to the evils that are running rampant in the society. It's just, look, dude, at the end of the day, you and I both know that there's a lot of evil going out there without question. And if you stand up to evil, you could lose your job. That's just a fact. Now, if you're sitting there like, well, I like my house, I like my car, I like my things. If you have heavy debt, you got to pay for these things somehow, and you pay it through your job. It's almost like, it's literally, when you think about it, these guys are good. The guy, whoever controls the stuff, I don't know who these people are. You don't know. They're good. They get you in debt with these fake promises of like student loans, like you'll be happy with a new car, you'll be happy if you take on the student debt, you have a good job, you have all kinds of money, you have a big house, you know what I'm saying, you have a hot wife, the whole thing. And then you wake up, you're like, I got all this debt. How do I pay for it? I got paid for it for my job. My job requires this, you know what I'm saying? My job requires me to do DEI to 57 flavors. My job requires me to not to say anything about 7 million people, the vast majority of which are young men coming across our border and invading force. I can't say anything. Because if I lose my job, I lose these things, and I like these things. And that's the problem with debt. It's a freaking carrot and a stick. They give you the carrot, you get the carrot, then they hammer you. There's no way around. Now, what's going to happen at some point is that as more and more people get out of debt, then they'll start using another carrot and a stick. Well, you want food, you know what I'm saying? You're going to capitulate to whatever we say. That's why all these things, like when they're talking about, like, those Palestinians support Hamas and whatnot, because that's where the food comes from, man. Give me a break. It's like, they actually support Hamas. They support having the 3 hots and a cot. And it's the same thing's going to happen. Look, if you just look through history, if you did not support the people in charge, you didn't get fed. You didn't get your bread. So right now we're in a position where we still have enough food. That's not an issue. But the issue is the debt. They don't need to withhold your food and their provisions. They will come to do that at some point. But right now they're like, we got too many people already secured with debt that they'll do what we say. And then I'm reading this article. I think I posted it. Let me see. So I'm reading this article from my man Christopher Brunette, who you should follow on Substack, Carl Stack, and this is from the American Conservative online magazine. And he did a trip to the Isle of Portland, where Britain's conservative government has parked a barge full of migrants from Africa. 500 migrants outside this idyllic town in the UK that's 95% white. The African migrants are all men, but not a woman among them. And anyone who says it's just they're so emasculated, it's sad. It's sad because they don't want to be called Nazi, they don't want to be called racist, because they don't want to lose their jobs and their livelihoods, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you lose your job and your livelihood and you're in debt, you're SOL. And it's no, I'm looking at it like the poor whites in the South, the poor whites in Haiti during the Toussaint Revolution. It's the same kind. They're like, well, we are one step above those guys, the slaves essentially. So we don't want to be. We'll do whatever we got to do to stay above those guys. It's the same thing with these whites in the Isle of Portland. The same thing with all these people throughout Western Europe to the United States. We are right here, so we'll let the evildoers do whatever they want as long as we're one step above those guys. And if you just look at the history of like the Louverture Toussaint Revolution, he wanted to partner with the poor whites to overthrow the aristocracy. And the poor whites, they kind of fell for it. And they said, no, we're going back because they're like, well, if we throw in with you, you're going to mass slaughter us. That's what the aristocrats said. If you go in with Overture, they're going to mass slaughter you. And he didn't want to do anything like that at all. He said, look, yeah, you guys might be one step above us, but you're still scum to these people. You see what I'm saying? But they just said they couldn't do it. And the same thing with the poor whites in the South. They just couldn't do it during the Civil War. And then, of course, which the carpetbaggers and the Reconstruction did so much more damage to the poor whites in the South that if they just would have partnered with the blacks, they would have been better off. And the same thing is here. Is like, man, we We want to be one step above these people, so we'll do whatever the overlords, the aristocrats say. We don't want to be called racist. We don't want to be called, whatever it is, the xenophobics and stuff. It's just, but if 500 men are off your border, all right. So some lady I saw on not TikTok, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but someone had posted this, which completely made sense. If men come to your country and leave their families behind, they're coming for war. If men come to the country with their families in tow, they're refugees. They're escaping war. So men that come over your border and leave their families in the home country aren't coming for good intentions. They're just not. Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely, 100%. But at the end of the day, 7.5 million people coming through our southern borders, the vast majority are young men leaving their families at home. These aren't people coming here for assimilation. They're just not. Why the governments are letting it happen, I don't know. Look, and I got watched what I say on YouTube. I got a mortgage on this. You know what I'm saying? I still got 4 kids I got to try to take care of. But if you don't have debt, it frees you up on the ability to say things, to do things, to act in ways that you know are better for your country, your family, your community, your church. But when you're in debt and stuff, you just go along, man. Did we learn anything from COVID? Do whatever you can to get out of debt. Look, I think about this all the time. Like, I got some money. I was like, man, maybe I should just work on paying off my debt. I don't have enough money to pay off all my debt. But I tell you, when that time comes, I'll be thinking about it. I'll tell you that right now. Pay off all my debt, be free from the money lenders. I have to find an income, don't get me wrong. But to be free from the money lenders that's what we should all strive for. That gives you the freedom to at least be able to voice what you know is wrongdoings in this world, for sure. And you can't do that now. You just can't. And it's just sad, man. And we're suckers for that. We're suckers for things. That's all there is to it. And try to get out from and look, I'm talking to myself probably more than many of you guys. Try to get out from the need for things and try to get in for more the need for gratification for what you already have. All right. Anyway, it's just what I had to start this morning with. We'll see you. Love your thoughts. We'll see you.